It's on, it's on. There's no sound. Play with the rabbit ears.
Reports, incredible as they seem, are not the results of mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. What do they think we're imagining all this?
Destructomundo.
Hi, this is James, and you're here for the introductory show of Destructomundo, and we're in the middle of a conversation, and I'm here with Derek and Ted, and say hello, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Derek was talking about the mail call where they went to the Pentagon, and go ahead, man, tell me what this is.
So they're on the tour, Early Army. The gunny's on the tour of the Pentagon, and he's at it's like Operations Center. It's the Army. I know it was an Army facility. It's the Army something Operations Center, and it's like anything.
Did you just cut out?
Yes.
Yeah, I cut out for a second too.
That was me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And so they're in the Army operation. It's some sort of intelligence gathering, coordination, tactical operations center. And it looks like anything. There's just lots of people sitting in front of computers, basically. But all of the desktops are normally they're green, right? Because everyone in there is secure, right?
They're red, I thought. And they
that's
flipped
right.
them to green.
Yeah, they're red.
That meant it was
So
safe.
the lettering is in red?
No,
just
like
the background, the desktop on the...
I was imagining like an old IBM 386, and you got like the green
it's bright,
screen.
It's bright red, and there's icons on there for whatever stuff they're running. But in big letters across the desktop, it says "Think OPSEC," like that on there, and they're all red, which means they were red. That's right, because the desktop icons are all like the classified stuff that they're doing and using. So when there's a camera crew comes in, with Arlie Army and the unsecured people, there's like a big switch they flip, and they all automatically flip to green. And it still says "Think OPSEC," but like all the icons are concealed. And I guess there's probably like one for Outlook or something on there. There's just one or two at the bottom,
but it no longer.
Yeah, but it was really cool because it said "Think OPSEC" in big block letters, like so you could never.
Now, what exactly is OPSEC?
Operational security.
Oh, okay, all right. So they want you to be aware of that in your mind at all times.
But they flipped the switch, and it was really cool because and of course every monitor, every computer in the room is sort of controlled by the master switch. They just flipped the switch, and they all instantly went green.
Sure.
And you couldn't see what they were doing. Everybody just kind of sat there like they couldn't do any work while the camera.
Yeah, it was working.
I was.
If you got time to lean, you got time to clean. More like if you got time to lean, you got to think OPSEC.
But it was. Now I've been trying to find a way. I really want that on my computer at work. Actually, I want it solid red and says.
Well, you need to get the big switch.
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily need that, but I do want the bright red background with "Think OPSEC" in block letters.
So do you want to turn your entire monitor red?
Just make a desktop background.
Yeah,
make a red one.
Yeah, I just haven't had time to do it yet. But that's another project on the list. I just thought it was really cool because then everyone will walk into my office and go, "What is that?" Which they already do anyway.
Yeah, you got to tell them I'm thinking operational security.
I can go OPSEC. My concern about OPSEC prevents me from telling you what it is.
Yeah.
Get out of my office now.
That's why you should put a big black bar over your eyes in every photograph.
You should just get a pair of sunglasses.
Think PERSEC on that one.
I'm going to start doing that out from now on. Every one of my photos will have them.
Well, you need to have like the pair of fatigues on with the suit top. That's the best look in the world.
Dan and I took some action photos today at the range, and if I do post them anywhere, I'm doing that.
So let's hear
and
this.
I'm going to quote both OPSEC and PERSEC on that.
Let's hear the story of the range today. Now I hear all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Well,
new toys.
New toys. It was actually one of those rare occasions. I had not one but two brand new unfired weapons to deflower. And Dan had one as well. He had a brand new AR to break in. And both of us have been stockpiling ammo over the last 3 weeks. Lots of great deals on ammunition.
It must have been, for the number I heard was quite high.
So we each had... Well, I had close to 600 rounds of 223.
Wow. Some
civilian and some military stuff. And then I actually took with me something in the neighborhood of about 700 rounds of 45, I think. I didn't shoot. I didn't shoot at all, but you never know. If you got it, take it. But
I heard 500.
I did the math when I got home. I put slightly more, something in 470 something rounds through it today. I did the math.
So did you just count magazine loadings and stuff?
Well,
like
I had boxes of 50.
How's your thumb feel there?
The tip of my right thumb is numb. There's like permanent nerve damage from shucking mags. Because I only had the 2 factory 8-rounders. So if you figure 470 something rounds through 2 8-round magazines.
How stiff was the spring on those? Those are new magazines, right?
Yes, they were really, really stiff at first. They loosened up. They were like, especially like you get about 5 rounds in it easy.
You got tennis thumb now, man.
And the last 3 rounds
injured.
in it when it was fresh was
right.
like the bitch. And I field stripped it this morning, and to check it out before I went shooting. I just field stripped it and put a little extra oil in there to help it break in, and the thing's got a monster recoil spring in it too.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge. I mean, it's like most of them are just like a coil spring.
Yeah.
But the actual spring, it's like one piece of wire coiled in a coil spring. That's what most of them are. Well, the actual spring is braided, like wound braided wires, to make one sort of giant wire, and then that's coiled.
Okay.
So it's a huge monster spring, but 470 something rounds, flawless.
Not one jam out of the whole
Nothing.
business.
Didn't take anything to sort of warm up, break it in.
So what was your
It's a
target
SIG,
accuracy
man.
there?
It's a SIG, yeah. You're like, and I'd been on the SIG forum the past couple of weeks, kind of reading stuff, and even though you expect it to be perfect, there are guys who are on there with the stories of, I'm so disappointed, I paid all this money, and they got the one that is all screwed up and it jamming, and anything you're gonna get limited. This thing is just, it's a freaking dream. It was like, it's incredible. Started out with some like the Remington generic stuff, just the ball, which Dick's had on sale. You got like a 500 round case for about $95,
God damn.
which is great.
Sure.
And that's just good blasting ammo, but it was unbelievably shitty accuracy.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff was, and it was kind of dirty. There was a lot of unburned powder sparks, but okay just to break it in. But I let off a couple of mags, and I'm like, man, I suck. Like, I couldn't hit shit with it. And then I also ordered online something that's almost impossible to find. They had, it was at ammoman.com, which is a great place to get ammunition online. Good prices, free shipping.
So, folks, for whoever's listening out
There's a
there,
plug.
we'll put this in the show notes. And
There's a plug. Great. www.ammoman.com. And they've got really good stuff, great prices, free shipping, and you can generally get it.
Free shipping.
Free shipping.
It sounds like we're doing an ad for these
And
people. We're not getting anything out of this, but if anything from anybody from ammoman.com feel free to send us, whatever
and
you like.
I got
Or
five,
Goose Island in Chicago.
Yes, this show is sponsored by Goose Island.
I got 500 rounds in, I think, 4 days. So I mean, it's quick shipping too for free.
Where are they out of?
Ordnance through the mail.
Yes. I'm not sure.
But they're pretty close. Well, we live in a UPS hub city, folks, so we got a great line.
What I ordered was they had something that's really hard to find, actually. It's Federal, the company, Federal. It's XM 1911, which is military contract overrun. It's actually current production military
Mm-hmm.
45 ball, which is really hard to find, because if you ever find military 45 ACP ball, it's old stuff. You can still find boxes of World War II stuff floating around, in Korea era stuff, but this is like brand new. It's in match grade brass. It's actually loaded match grade. It's cantilured cases, lacquered and sealed. It is the shit. And I got 500 rounds of that, and it comes in the cool, totally generic white box. It says 45 ACP, because it's military stuff. They don't need the fancy packaging.
Yeah.
500 rounds of that for I think it was $129.
Wow.
Which is a great deal.
Yeah, that is.
And then, so it was sucking with the Remington crap,
yeah.
and I loaded up 2 mags of that stuff, and it was dead fucking on. I'm like, see, this is a quality weapon.
Mil spec.
It needs the good shit, right?
Stuff's great when it says mil spec. It doesn't even have to say anything.
Not the food.
No, no, not the food.
It's one of those things. It's like, if you had a Ferrari, you'd put good gas in it.
Yeah.
Right. I'm like, this is a quality weapon. It'll eat anything. Anything you put in it, it's going to blast it through. But it's not going to be super accurate with crappy ammo.
Yeah, and you don't want to break in a gun with the cheap stuff,
so,
really.
I was blasting with some of the Remington stuff, but when I put the match grade military stuff in it, man, it was just dead. Because the rounds were loaded, because it's matched up. There's so much consistency round to round. Like, you just lock on and you empty a mag into something, and it's all right there. And the Remington, the shit was everywhere, and it was, like I said, it was dirty. It was blowing a lot of unburned powder, but the match stuff was just balls on. It was just unbelievable. That's like like if you ever had to go into a real situation using Full Metal Jacket non-expanding ammo, that's the kind of shit you want. Well, the same thing with 9mm. If you could find like 9 NATO ball, it's going to be way better than getting the generic crap at Walmart, the Winchester white box stuff, which is just blasting ammo. I also put a couple mags of hollow points through it, put some 230 Hydroshocks through it, some 200 grain something, Spioshis that Dan had. He's like, here, try some of these out. And those were weird because they're lighter. I guess.
Did he have a handgun, or did he just bring his AR?
No, he had his 1911 and his Beretta. He handed me the Beretta, and I was like, that thing's just...
It's like a BB gun after.
Yeah. And it's such a pussycat. It's like the thing is so easy to shoot super well. Like, I haven't fired that thing in years. He's like, here, dead on, just empty the mag into something. And I'm like, wow. I need now
15 rounds gone like that.
Yeah, and it's just such a pussycat. And I'm like, man, that's so awesome. And now, I didn't even... This is something for the future, but I really need a SIG 226 now.
Oh, now, yeah, okay.
I need to have the pair, because then I'm totally set. I never really wanted a high cap.
You got a smoking deal on that thing, man.
I never wanted a high cap 9 until I was over there, and the guy's like, I was checking out all the different SIGs. I was set on the 220.
Right.
And then the guy's like, I'll check this one out. And he hands me the 226. And the 226 Tactical with the extended threaded barrel. And I'm like, wow, I think I totally need a 226. But
this is the gun nut episode. We're really going into it. This is great.
Yeah. But it's, and like I said, I've always wanted a SIG. That's one of those, like, it was the dream sort of sidearm to me, that the 220, man, it was worth the wait. All the hype is real. There's no bullshit. It's just that good. And for an alloy frame 45, that thing is smooth. It's a dream, man. It's like, it was not noticeably different than like shooting a 1911, which is a brick. I mean, I love 1911s, but that's a big, hefty, all steel thing. But to be alloy frame, man, that thing was... I didn't shoot any, plus P high pressure stuff or anything, but I don't see the need for plus P 45.
No.
I don't see the need for anything lighter than 230 grain in 45.
It's a big, fat
my thinking
bullet.
is, like, this is... it's like... It's got it's large caliber, large diameter. It's got a large cross section. It's 45 as opposed to 9, say. So the bigger cross section, it needs more mass to penetrate, whereas like a smaller bullet, like a 357, can be lighter because it's a smaller surface area penetrating.
I see.
So you have a bigger... It's like pushing your finger into something, or pushing pushing your fingertip into something or pushing your whole hand into something.
Yeah.
Or, to get a larger surface area into something, you need more force behind it. So when you get lighter 45 bullets, and I don't understand the point of it. Like, if you want like a 185, which is generally the lightest, they do make some 165s. If you want a 185, why wouldn't you just get like a 40?
Right.
I don't understand why you get a 45 and then you want a lightweight, fast bullet out of it. That doesn't make any sense.
Hey! Use the coaster, savage.
What coaster?
That one. Yeah, you got to lean back in that chair, and then you try to lean forward, and it becomes an issue. I know.
But
got some comfortable furniture here.
I like this chair. So I was thinking, like, you have, so you have 230, right? That way, if you're used to shooting 230 grain bullets, that's what all the cheap Full Metal Jacket stuff is, 230, right? So you get 230 grain standard pressure jacketed hollow points of whatever type you like. They feel the same coming out of it. Most of them, the sights seem to be regulated for 230s, so it's going to sight the same. Because when I was shooting 200s, I was shooting short. And then, worst case scenario, if you have to use it and you've got jacketed hollow points in it, worst case scenario, if the cavity on the hollow point can become plugged with fabric, like if it's going through heavy jacket, the layers of fabric can actually plug it and it won't expand. That happens, and all the companies try to come up with ways to keep it from happening. But if it does and it doesn't expand, then it turns into 230 grain ball, which has the best track record for non-expanding stuff. It's way better than using like 9 ball or something, on anything. So that makes sense to me. If you're gonna have a 45, you use 230s.
Yeah, because you can't really lose. You get great or you get really good. Yeah. One of the two.
Yeah. So that's and the weapon just seemed to shoot better. It's like I said, the sights are probably regulated for 230, I would think, because that's mostly what you're going to be shooting. But the thing was just amazing. It's just awesome. All I need is more magazines for it.
Yeah, because you just had the 2, right?
Yes, and a weapon light. Because Surefire now makes an LED.
Yeah.
Which is what I've been waiting for. And I got the rail on the SIG.
And it has that diamond pattern, right?
Yes.
That's a very cool LED.
And now it's like the first LED bright enough. In their words, the first LED bright enough for tactical use.
I haven't seen, how big is it?
It's about that long.
Yeah.
It's a 5-watt LED.
About 4 inches long.
Yeah, what's just amazing to me that they stuck a 5-watt in a...
It's
like 2.5 inches here, folks. I mean, this thing is very small.
Oh yeah, it's
and blinding.
It's not very big.
Go to Target. I've seen them at Eddie Bauer, 1 watt, and just shine yourself in the face. And
I've got a couple of 1 watt
spot in your front of you.
I've got a 3-watt at home that will stun you if you get zapped by it. So it's a 5-watt. I think it's 65 lumens. I think so. This right.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one of the selling points for Surefire flashlights is that you get one, you could use it as self-defense. Not only can you pummel somebody in the face with it,
in the face.
You can just blind them with it. But you'll pay $90 to $100 for a flashlight, though.
But you have a stun flashlight. I mean, that's amazing.
And totally cool.
Yeah, and people, I was looking at a Surefire catalog at work, and a guy asked me, because there were prices, like suggested prices, or something in there, and it's like, some of them are $200 or $300, and it's like, $300 for a flashlight. I'm like, this is Surefire. Like, if you had a job where at some point in the course of your job, your life might depend on whether or not your flashlight worked.
Sure. I was a pizza delivery guy. That actually came in quite handy.
People who have that job carry Surefires. And the only other company that has any sort of rep along that line is Streamlight.
Mm-hmm.
And I would say more people are probably, at least when there's bullets involved, they seem to be on the side of Surefire.
Yeah.
Streamlight makes a lot of stuff for like search and rescue and firefighters and stuff like that. But Surefire is so weapons combat oriented stuff. But they finally have. But I'm all hooked on LED flashlights. I've phased out all of my other stuff. I'm going totally LED.
Yeah, we had this conversation the other day. We can't understand why Maglite isn't putting out a LED.
Yeah.
I mean, for a company that's known for making flashlights for police, and then the fact that everyone has got an LED out now, are they waiting? Do they have something that they're wanting to bring out? I mean, I'd love to see one of the giant, like, 6-cell.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
with
could
an LED.
you could easily put a 3 to 5 watt in a monster like that.
Yeah, and I mean, that thing could be a nightstick plus, like, stun light.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
I'd buy one.
And, yeah, I mean, because I don't know. You can get third-party conversion heads for some of them.
So you can buy the light.
Yeah, you can get an for the smaller Maglites. You can get a for the little pocket ones. You can get.
It just seems like they're missing an opportunity here.
Certainly.
Maybe they're trying to support their older customers that aren't used to the new technology, and they don't want to make something.
It doesn't make any
It's
sense.
a flashlight. You push the button and the
I
light
know.
comes on.
That's what
It doesn't.
I
Yeah, it doesn't
say.
operate any different.
But they should give you the option. It shouldn't be that hard to put like an
It's,
LED in the top part of a flashlight.
Yeah.
But they're. I mean,
I'd buy it as
LED
an accessory.
the only complaint that some people have with LEDs is the sort of the coloring they have to the lights. Some of them do get kind of blue-white at times.
I like that.
And some people, well, I like it too, but it's just what you're used to. If you're used to most, most bulbs have that sort of
It
yellow.
does make quite distinct shadows.
Most incandescent stuff has that kind of yellowy.
Well, like natural light.
Yeah,
It's supposed
it's
to
a
be
little
more
you know,
natural.
I don't mind the blue-white to LED, and I mean I've switched out. I am, and my brother Dan, he's the same. We're both flashlight geeks. We're like self-confessed flashlight geeks.
You heard it here
Don't
first.
know why.
Flashlight geeks.
Don't know why, and apparently there are others like us, but we're both like constantly finding cool flashlights and going, check the. I'll see him and he's like, check this out, man. I found this. Be like, I found this at Meijer, dude, for like $15, and it's like really cool. And then we're both obsessed with LEDs now. So I've switched out all my.
Well, you've got the small like pocket Pelican, right? And then you have.
I have a pocket Pelican. I have the Innova X5, which is the shit.
The X makes it cool.
Yes. The Innova X5 is awesome. Because it's super lightweight.
Is that the one you got at the show?
Yeah.
Was that the one, like the $35 one that you bought?
It was $39.99.
That's not bad.
No, and that thing's awesome because it's all machined aluminum. It's waterproof to further depth than I ever plan on going in.
I should have bought a flashlight.
Yeah.
I bought an airsoft rifle.
If you're deep enough that you need a flashlight, you're too deep.
It's water.
I bought an airsoft rifle.
Yeah.
I'm so cool now.
You bought a fake airsoft rifle.
No, I bought a real airsoft rifle. There's no
Well,
airsoft company. It's real.
It's
just really fake.
But it's.
But it's so fun. You can because you can pepper your friends and they just get mad at you. They don't die.
The X5 is I think it's waterproof to like 30 something feet.
Mm-hmm.
Which is if it's not a swimming pool or surf, that I'm not going to be in it. So, but it's got 5 LEDs in it. I think I forget what the wattage on it is, but it's extremely bright. But it's cool because all the LEDs are redundant. So if one of them gets broken, the other 4 still work.
Oh, that's nice. That's not like Christmas lights.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
So I mean, and it's crush proof to like 2,000 pounds. And it weighs virtually nothing because it's aluminum and LEDs, and it's got CR123 lithium batteries in it. So it weighs nothing, and it's like, compared to like a mini mag, which is roughly the same size.
Oh yeah, the brightness level
is phenomenal compared to it, I think. And then mini mag, if you try to carry it, it makes the Innova X5 makes a mini mag feel like you've got a roll of nickels in your pocket.
Really, it's that light, huh?
I mean, the Innova just vanishes. It's like it's just wicked.
So is it made of aluminum
Yeah.
casing? Yeah.
It's super cool for like $40. It's a wickedly cool.
I'm a
light.
sucker for anodized aluminum. That and the magnesium.
And then
A
and then I
magnesium
have
case.
the,
I'm all over.
And then I have the 3-watt one that Dan got off eBay. He got a pair of those. It's like a Chinese copy almost of a little Surefire, but it's a 3-watt. It was like $12, and it's aluminum. And
It was a 3-watt for $12. Really? Because Eddie Bauer, of all places, had a 1-watt that I saw at Target, and they had it for $30.
I have a Dorsey one watt. I got it. Target.
Yeah, was it kind of I don't know, an odd sort of
They
silver.
came in weird colors, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that one's the Dorsey's kind of cool because it's got two settings. It's got like you push the button once, it comes on,
and it blinks.
You push it again, and it goes flashing strobe.
So
and
you
there's
can
a new
signal flying saucer.
There's a new I think it's a Dorsey that Meyer's carrying now. That's like in a waterproof rubber, like shockproof housing.
Really?
Which I got for $20 because I'm a
Well,
flashlight
you know,
guy.
I have a Dorsey at work that I use to work like on equipment, and it's a one LED, but it's not. I don't know what the wattage is on it, but I was really surprised. I mean, it took like normal batteries. It's like 4 AA batteries, but it wasn't nearly as bright as what I expected it to be. I was really kind of disappointed in it. Of course, it was free, so I didn't have to worry about that.
Well, in these LED lights, can you focus the beam, or is it?
Most of them, no. Not like in a mag light. There's not like the rotating thing.
Right.
Most of them, but they're so incredibly. You don't get that weird sort of hazy ring.
Right. I just wondered what the what the range on them was. Like if you could, because with a mag light you can focus it down where you can.
Most of them are like that already.
Okay.
Most of them don't have the spread.
Right.
They're real intense, and if you shine them on a wall, you don't have that sort of crooked egg-shaped thing that you get with bulb lights. It's like there's like a white dot, and then
especially if you have like an imperfect mirror, and you get that spot that's kind of off to the left or the right or top or bottom, and you're like, it kind of messes with the shadows.
If you read
think you see something and you don't.
If you read all the details stuff on them, I mean, the LED lights are just. I mean, for serious use, I can't see why anybody would use anything different.
Well, I just don't. Yeah, I mean, they say they don't use them on headlights because there's not enough spread. Like it's too direct of a beam.
But I mean, they're so much more rugged than an incandescent or any sort of
the lifetime's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean any sort of bulb light, whether whether you're the most high tech ones are some of the xenon or whatever type of things, which doesn't really matter. It makes it brighter.
Yeah, it's still based on technology that was essentially made in the late late 1800s. It's no different. It's just a little better in the substance. But
the LEDs there's so little there to break. I mean, it's so simple and so rugged. The light is so intense. The lifetime, basically the lifetime of the LED itself is way longer than you are ever going to live, barring some amazing scientific breakthrough that makes you live 1,000 years. Most of them will last well over 100 years. Yeah,
I've heard that they'll outlast the casing that it's in a lot of times because of just the durability.
They use, they use very little power, so the battery life on most of them is pretty good. It's not always great if you've got a super powerful.
Well, it's like the Cadillac STS has. Well, I guess a lot of the new Cadillacs have the LED taillights.
Yeah.
And they're the Arrayed, where there's lots and lots of them. But I mean, I'd like to know how much Cadillac's charging for a tail light. Because, I mean, I imagine something could go wrong and you'd have to end up replacing it. But would you replace the bulbs or it's the wiring connected to it? Or is it all one piece? Or if you were to get hit in an accident, what does this tail light
There's
cost?
Probably, I would imagine there is like a single unit.
Yeah.
That like pops out.
That plugs into something. I would imagine that too.
And they can charge you $3,000.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's the way GM likes
get
to do.
Burned.
But and then most of them, like I said, they have and the way that they run, it's like it's not just the battery life is not technically longer, but the nature of the way they operate. It's like they can run on so little current and still operate, which is like, whereas like an incandescent, a bulb sort of hits that critical point and is gone.
Yeah.
And there's still juice in the batteries, but it's not getting enough to operate. Whereas LEDs, they'll run for a long period at like a normal, and then they'll start to drift, or the light will start to dim, and they'll go and they'll still get some juice out of them. And a lot of them are like set up. They have like a sort of like a, I forget what it was called. It was like a moonlight mode or something where they can run on like the last drops of juice out of the battery and it's still putting out some light.
Really?
And it'll drain those batteries dead before
you need to go and change
before it stops producing light. I mean, they can actually, and most of them come with lithium batteries, which weigh so much less than alkaline batteries and have.
They're very low wattage.
Yeah,
very low. It's microwatts, and
so again, you shave a lot of. I mean, you can put alkaline batteries in some of them. I mean, the ones that, a lot of them are AA, AAA stuff, but the really cool ones are usually CR123 lithiums, which is
everything that's running off lithiums anymore. It's just the coolest battery out there.
Well, I mean, but and you can get lithium, AA, AAA stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the like the Innova X5 and the Surefires and other cool stuff. Most of the like a lot of optical, like the EOTechs, the regular now they're making AA EOTechs, but most regular EOTech sites run on CR123.
Well, like all the really high-end mini-disc recorders that Sony makes all come with that lithium-ion stick battery that's,
Yeah, that's what mine has.
Really, really thin. Oh, that's a cool battery.
Cool stuff. But
and it lasts a really long time.
It's rechargeable, too.
Which is what we're recording on, by the way, is a mini-disc. It doesn't have a lithium-ion battery, unfortunately. I have a battery attachment.
But it's funny talking about being a flashlight geek. That's one of those things that's like. So I'm a flashlight geek, so I have many flashlights, and I don't understand.
I'm not going to tell you what kind of geek I am.
I'm many types of geeks.
Oh,
that's one facet of my geek.
Yeah, I'm
but
sure it'll come out.
But in terms, if you just the sort of thing that we're talking about here, like if you're talking about whatever level of a survival situation.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a flashlight.
Tantamount.
It's a fundamental thing, and it's one of those things that's like, whatever. If you want to look at like a little bit of preparation goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to be like me. You don't have to buy a bunch of really cool, quote unquote tactical flashlights, but
that just makes it sound so tough.
Tactical is. Tactical
vests.
First of all, it has to be black.
Oh, did you hear about the recall on the tactical vest, or rather the
the Marines
vest? Yeah.
The Marines
are saying that there's no problem with them, but apparently somebody
got shot. But go ahead.
I was gonna say it's strange to me. It's like there are actually people who like don't own a single flashlight.
Oh, I'm so happy with my flashlight. Actually, I got that mag light.
And that's one of those. It's one of those things. It's like there's a few basic things that you could have.
Yeah,
in
the
your
power
possession.
goes out. You need a flashlight.
I don't want to sound chauvinistic, but there's some. When I got married, there was no flashlight in the house. Like,
and it's like, and that's
I had 3 in my car.
Yeah, it's strange to me because it's one of those things. It's like there are a few basic things that you could have.
Mm-hmm.
If you're concerned, you don't even have to be a nut and start stockpiling ammo
or batteries.
But if you're concerned about surviving any sort of
conflagration,
anything what I like to call disruptions of like your everyday life. Like I said, if the power goes out. Yeah. Most people, if the power's out for 2 days, their life is fucking a nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
They just don't
know
how
to... dumping turkeys in the trash, and the whole neighborhood smells awful.
The slightest little thing, their life is just crazy. But
sure.
There's a few basic things like that. Like if one of them would be a flashlight. Some way to generate light that's not dependent upon either the electrical grid or something burning.
Yeah.
And case in point, last summer, big storm rolls through, power goes out. It's very hot summer night, so I'm in my apartment, power goes out, air conditioners are dead, quickly becoming very warm. So I've got the windows open a little bit, but it's still kind of storming, and the rain's coming in a little bit, so I got them cracked. And there were the civil defense sirens were going off because there were tornado warnings. It's that time of year here. It's crazy ass weather.
Telephone lines down all over the place.
Yeah, so I'm in, so I sort of opened the door to my apartment, and the people in my apartment building are all kind of coming out of their apartments because it's very hot in the apartments, and we're trying to get some ventilation, and we were trying to look out the front door of the building to kind of see what was going on. And the two girls who live across the hall from me were in a state of panic because when they opened the door to their apartment to come out, there's like 14 candles lit in the living room, right? Everywhere. The civil defense sirens are going off. The tornadoes are coming. They're freaking out. I'm like ready. I've got a flashlight in one hand. I've got like my cell phone in my pocket. I've got like a pocket knife, which is another thing that.
Oh, I feel naked without my pocket knife.
That's another that's another little thing, and you don't have
just to cut packages open.
Yeah.
If I don't have it, I feel completely useless.
So we're standing there, and they're panicking because the phones were dead. So they wanted to try to contact somebody. So I let them use my cell phone. They called somebody, and apparently that person was like, get down to the basement immediately. So they go back in their apartment for a minute, and they come out, and they're going to go downstairs in the dark, and I've got kind of one of the crazy crookedy staircases.
These were the old neighbors, the ones
Yes.
that dressed in those neighbors dressed great. They
Yes.
had the best outfits.
I liked those girls.
Yeah.
So they're and they come out, and they've got the candle in one hand, and they're trying to shield the flame, as they go downstairs. And I'm like, and there's
It's like a
candles,
Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, and the thing is, and there's still candles lit in the apartment. So they're going to go downstairs and leave the candles lit. So I'm like, they don't have any flashlights at all. So I'm like, hang on. So I went and got an extra one because I have multiple. So I'm like, here. I was like, well, let me get you a flashlight. I was like, as I can put out the candles in your apartment if you're going to go downstairs.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Like, yeah, if it blows the candles over and burns the building down, you're in the basement.
So it's one of those things. It's like they have no flashlights. So it's like the only way to generate. Of course, they've got tons of candles. Maybe that's a gender thing. I have a few candles.
But you never know who's going to come over, and you need to have 50 candles lit around your bed.
So and it's one of those things like and you. So if you have a bunch of candles lit like that, you have to get up to go from one room to the other. You have to carry the candles with you. You don't want to leave candles in one room if you're in another room.
No.
That's just asking for trouble.
Yeah, it is.
Because, then, and another thing...
Down on the farm, we learn about that.
And another thing that people don't have is a goddamn fire extinguisher, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If you don't have a flashlight, chances are you don't have a fire extinguisher.
So, if you, it's a good idea to have some way to generate light without something burning.
Right.
Light without heat.
And ghosts are afraid of flashlights, but if you have candles in the house and you're walking around with the candle, you're going to see a ghost.
Yes.
It actually draws them out. But if you have a nice flashlight,
they're scared of
you'll never
flashlights,
see one.
and they're attracted to open flames.
Indeed.
In general,
that's true.
Yes, I agree. I concur. I mean, so that's a real basic thing. It's like there are a couple. Somewhere I could probably come up with like a list of like 10 things. It's like and there's stuff that you could go to. Walmart.
Oh, we should have a list of 10 things, actually.
Well, I'll work on my list.
We should have a list of 10 things that
like
you definitely have to have.
The 10 basic things, and like I said, none of it's exotic. It's stuff you could go to like Walmart and get for not a whole lot of money. And if you had those 10 things, you'd be well ahead of 90% of the population.
Sure.
You're
ready to go.
You have a 38-cent can opener, and everybody else is trying to bang a can of tomatoes on the side of the road.
The first thing that's going to happen is utilities are gone.
And that's what I mean.
In any event.
In little things like that, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's like just sort of a little bit of basic preparation. And you're not reaching nutball survivalist level. You don't have 10,000 rounds of ammunition in your basement.
And you're not always wearing an ammo vest, which is the best. I'm going hunting, all the time.
And you don't have 80,000 liters of water stored.
Well, if you want to live like Dale Gribble, I think that there's definitely something.
It's great if it works for you, but I mean, like most people, you're not reaching that level. But there's a few basic things. It's like because like I said, people are so dependent upon the kind of the infrastructure of urban and suburban living.
Sure.
All this stuff, like everything that's sort of
Well,
piped into
we're
your
connected
home.
to each other, and those people may need some of the stuff you have, and there's so maybe they need that stuff.
But the thing is, it'll be dark. They won't have a flashlight. They won't be able to find it.
You have an advantage.
So-
that you have the advantage.
And when I sight in on you and your flickering candle,
You might think it's a ghost.
when you're coming to steal.
Wait, guns don't work against ghosts. Oh, too late.
Yeah. I mean that you're not buying like the stuff like that. Like you're not buying a case of smoke grenades.
No.
It's not bad to have.
But it isn't bad to have.
which is not a
Fireworks were much better last year because of smoke grenades.
Smoke grenades are never a bad investment.
Nebelwerf Corpers.
If you buy smoke grenades, you're guaranteed to be cooler than most of the people you know.
Oh yeah.
If you have smoke grenades, you're automatically cooler than
Except
most
for
people.
you want to buy good smoke grenades. You want to buy ones that don't say East Germany on them, because we've had trouble with some of our East German smoke grenades that we've tried to light off at various 4th of July events. The first of which is
the key
best.
is just don't get them wet.
No. What happened to the one? I mean, the one at my house, the year where we tried to get the lid off and
Jam the sparkler
and
into
I brought
it.
out my
The one-
much. Now, Derek did not like my hacksaw.
The deeply.
It was
the
pretty
problem.
lame.
The problem was, I think my hand was still wet from getting a beer out of the cooler.
Well, I know my hand stayed
And-
wet the whole.
So I
night,
think I had reached into the cooler to get a beer out, so my hand was still kind of wet. And when there's sort of a pop top on the top of the grenade. It doesn't have like a pin and spoon like your traditional American grenade. There's kind of a pop top, and then underneath that there's a foil seal, which you punch through like when you open ketchup.
yeah.
And then inside that there's a ring attached to a string.
Yeah.
And you hook the ring and pop the string out, and and then that lights like a little spark.
Yeah, it's a flint-covered string.
Something
that
like
pulls
that. It
through and
pops a little
lights it.
spark, and then the grenade canister is filled with a smoke-generating powder. It burns like a big honking smoke bomb, basically.
And
But
it is a big honking
But my
smoke
hand
bomb.
was damp from getting the beer out, so I think when I tried to get in there and pull the ring to light the grenade, I got the string wet.
Oh, and it just failed to go off. I see. Well,
Which required us to get the hacksaw and
To saw the top off of the
my
grenade,
Saw the
so you
grenade
could jam a
open.
sparkler into it and try to get it to light.
Oh no,
That was hilarious.
the getting of the grenade open was the.
Well,
the
it was
funny part.
dark. The grenade was wet. I was intoxicated, and it was a piece of shit hacksaw.
That was a good hacksaw. It's the kind of hacksaw you use to get into tight places with. Now, what'd you call it?
The Fisher Price My First hacksaw. It had a tiny plastic handle, and the blade's
So
the
endearing.
blade's like 4 inches long.
I know, because it's supposed to be able to. You can use it to bend around stuff. If you're trying to saw the head off a bolt,
Well, if you're
try
trying
to do that with a full size hacksaw. It's not gonna
well, it's
do
like, but it,
This actually, you know that thing actually costs more than a regular hacksaw. Yeah, they're like
Because it's-
$5.99, and the other
because
one's
it's
$3.99.
because it's the ultra small tactical
yeah,
hacksaw.
tactical. That's
Yeah.
right, tactical hacksaw.
It's a tactical hacksaw.
Tactical means small.
But at that point, I was not about to let the grenade not ignite.
Mm-hmm.
That was a completely unacceptable.
Yeah, that was. I remember jamming the screwdriver into the side of it at first, trying to get the hole knocked into it, and realizing that I was about to jam it through my hand
So we
because
had
I'm
to-
holding
so we
the
had to
grenade in my hand, jamming the screwdriver to the side of the metal.
So
It's not
it
going
was
in.
necessary to saw it open, and then you could see that it's filled with sort of a dense white, chalky, powdery substance
That lets out 50,000
And,
cubic feet of smoke.
of really, really caustic.
Oh yeah, it
highly
smells
toxic
great. It's like vanilla. I thought so.
I don't remember anything remotely
I
vanilla
thought it smelled like vanilla. I really did.
It smelled largely like ammonia to me. It was very caustic.
I don't
Ammonia?
remember what it smelled like, but it wasn't good.
I didn't get an ammonia smell out of it. I really didn't
It's very
get
caustic.
like anything but. vanilla. I don't know why I got vanilla smell. I think maybe last year when we lit off all those fireworks and like the smoke grenade.
None of that smelled like vanilla. Yeah.
I think it smelled like vanilla.
Well, the one we lit off. No, the one.
I mean, it doesn't smell like good vanilla. It's like vanilla, but it does have a faint vanilla odor.
I didn't realize there was good and bad vanilla.
Sure. It's like, oh God, vanilla.
That's funny.
No, it wasn't like that bad.
But what the basic thing? One, smoke grenades are cool. If you own smoke grenades, you are cool. The thing is, you may not ever really need smoke grenades, but if you have smoke grenades, you find uses for smoke grenades.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's one of those things. You don't really need them.
And gunpowder.
Well, bulk powders, yes. If you have bulk gunpowder around, you'll find stuff to do.
Sure.
So, smoke grenades are certainly not essential, but they're also not useless.
No. Oh, I would never say that.
And they're good,
useless.
like knickknacks, just to put on bookshelves.
Yes.
I found. So.
Some people go, "What is that?" And it's a smoke grenade.
It's a smoke grenade.
And then they go, "Is it real?" I'm like, "You can see it."
Who the hell would buy a fake smoke grenade?
Prop smoke grenade?
Like, yeah, it's not real.
It's an airsoft. It's an airsoft smoke grenade.
Yes, it's an airsoft smoke grenade.
It's like a Nerf smoke grenade. Whoa! I thought I was gonna. But it's so smoke grenades. I'm actually down to I think 4.
Oh,
which means I gotta get on the ball.
Yeah, you had a case of those at one time, didn't you?
I had a 12-pack.
12-pack.
A shrink wrap 12-pack. Which was a great deal, but what I was the thing so if you don't have to reach that level and buying things like smoke grenades.
Where'd you get those at anyway? Magic of eBay?
No, I got those at the one of the Knob Creek shows.
Oh, yeah.
Which is where they have some really whacked out military surplus stuff.
Machine gun shoot, everybody comes out, so you never know what you're going to see.
Yeah, apparently Tom Green was at the last Knob Creek shoot.
Yeah, I heard about
Yeah, we get some celebrities up here. It's like the second Kentucky Derby, only this one's kind of neat. I've never been
and
to
it attracts
automatic weapons.
Never been
and it
once,
attracts.
But I've been to the machine gun shoot like 5 times.
It attracts some
it
like
attracts
crazy.
Oh yeah,
3 chromosomes too short motherfuckers too.
It's quite an
I was
experiment.
going to say it's kind of like the Derby, but with a lot more undercover federal agents.
Yes, yeah.
And
we have our share there too.
And the Patriot types.
Yes.
All those guys telling the stories about they're waiting for the Chinese paratroopers to land in their front yard.
Yeah. We need to do that thing we did at the convention where we get to join Starfleet Academy and put the little we
out there.
We ought to explain that. This is going to come off terrible. No, we went to this science fiction con and we were sitting around waiting.
No,
for
we
a
didn't
friend of
go
ours.
to it.
We went to.
We kind of just showed
visit
up.
a friend and
What's
drink
the
some beer.
technical term for that?
What did we do?
We stumbled upon it or something.
We made
we sort of
D&D jokes all night.
Yeah, because we didn't actually. I wouldn't say
we
we
didn't
sat
participate.
around and hung out with Sean and
we sort of invaded it.
yeah, invasion is a much better word than going to it. I agree.
We didn't actually attend. It was sort of.
But we sat behind a table that had.
I think it was a recon in force.
Yeah. We sat at a table that was nearest to this auditorium, and they had some Starfleet Academy. Join the Starfleet Academy, and it had a website address and like name and address to fill out and everything else, and so we decided that we would become the people who were trying to get people to join the Starfleet Academy. It was quite an experience. We didn't actually get anybody to sign up, but I was thinking it was because I was going.
Which is a good thing.
Going to Starfleet Academy. Yeah, you're gonna see the world.
Yeah, when you do that, you sound like a hardcore geek. So they're probably scared of you.
Yeah. Get some fancy steel.
If you can scare those guys with your geekness.
Yep. When you actually have a Vorpal sword.
Oh well, it's the guy that we saw at the one con.
Yes. That was the guy at whatever.
Oh, that was amazing.
Which guy was
He
that?
had the Starfleet Academy guy, the guy that the Enterprise Next Generation suit.
Well, no, there was a couple dressed in Next Generation outfits.
Was it a couple?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And then there was this guy all by himself dressed as.
What was that? It was the Galactic.
It was something. It was Galactic something. Galactic
Alliance, was that it?
something.
Global Alliance. The Global Alliance. Yeah, because he's like, I see you're a commander. He's like,
but he walks up to the guy and the couple, and it's like,
Holy
and
crap!
He's, and he's all in his, and it's a couple dressed, in Next Generation outfits. And this guy's like, well, I can see that you're a commander in Starfleet, and I am a commodore in the Galactic Council, or something like this, And this guy, who is clearly an uber dork, because he's dressed with his partner, I don't know, wife, girlfriend, whatever, they're both dressed in Next Generation outfits. They look at him like, you fucking freak, get away from him.
The guy, you gotta describe the uniform. It was like powder blue with a dark blue cape. It was the
and
best
of course
thing
it's
ever.
tight in all the places it doesn't need to be tight.
Yeah.
So, and they look at him like, wow, that the look that I was giving to them. Like,
he backed up from him, remember?
They give him, it's the whole thing of like, don't look him in the eye, back away slowly, keep your hands away from their mouth, and, and they gave him that look, and I was like, wow, when you can do that to those people, and so you'll get people like that at Knob Creek, but they're sort of the scary, violent part of it.
Yeah, they're the kind of guys you don't want to meet.
So when you're in these
occasions
sort of
where maybe an event isn't going on, come out to my ranch. When this is all over with, and you can see my
there's
compound.
There's a lot of guys out there you can tell don't get out in public all that often. They're sitting around loading mags all night long. And the kind of like you'll be out there at the sort of the gun show part of it.
Yeah.
Perhaps shopping for smoke grenades. And
among other things.
You'll be looking at you're standing at the table like you're looking at something, And one of those guys, and they're always, it's funny because they're the kind of guys that are always in their gear, right?
Yeah.
They've got like the BDUs and some boots and like their load bearing vest on.
Mm-hmm.
And they go to the fucking grocery like that.
Yeah, they got the ammo vest, the best guys ever.
That's
and their tactical sunglasses, and
they're buying some stuff at the store, and you can envision like the moment when the cashier's like paper or plastic, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to take it home in my load bearing vest," And I'm like, the guy's probably, and the guy's like stuffing it. I don't need those bags. I've got my load bearing equipment, And I'm like, he's like sticking, I'm going.
Like your cargo pants are filling up with milk.
He's like,
down the milk.
He's got like his tactical load bearing vest, and you can see him like, I'm going to put my Go-Gurt in this pocket, and the guy and it's always that guy, It's like he comes walking out.
He spent like $175 on a raid pack or something.
Yeah,
sure,
but he's getting, and he's using it by a guy.
Well, it's got the Velcro attachable pockets that you can like stick.
Totally
I need
sweet.
an extra pocket
because it's not only tactical, it's modular.
Yes,
which is another big.
Oh yeah, modular is totally different than tactical.
And modular.
If it's tactical and modular,
but you'll encounter those guys out there, and they'll kind of creep up next to you, and you'll be looking at something, and they'll say something like, those like, I'd really like to have one of those when those Chinese paratroopers land in my front yard.
Sure.
And you look at them, and you're like, what the fuck? Did you just say that?
Yeah, and
like,
you don't want to go, what? Because
or
they'll tell you all about it.
Or they'll be looking at like an AK, and they're like, I don't see why I need to buy one of those. When a Chinese paratrooper lands, I'm going to shoot him with my deer rifle, and I'll just pick up his AK. You're a proactive thinker, my man.
Yes.
Or even better, they'll just pick up a rifle and swing it around, aiming it at people.
Oh, I know.
Like,
Doesn't that happens at every gun show I go to? It's a guy going,
dude.
Oh,
and you see them train on you.
The last one, Dan and I were looking at something, and this guy, we were looking at one of the ammo tables. This guy comes up, and he asked the dealer, he's like, "Do you have any individual shotgun shells? I want to check the chamber on something." And I actually started laughing at a gun show, and the guy behind the table was like, "No, I don't think they'd like that." And the guy was like, "Well, yeah, I figured." Like, I don't think they want you chambering a shotgun round here in the middle. I was going to check that. Like, I guess it was something he didn't know if it was 2 3/4 or whatever the chamber. He asked for like, can I borrow one single shotgun shell? because I want to put it in this shotgun here. And I actually kind of went like that, you know, like whoa, and the guy's like, ah, and you could tell he wanted to go, hey, fucktard, back away from the deal, you know. But he was like, I don't think they'd like it if you did that here.
Yeah, you gotta say it each word carefully so they understand.
But there's the Knob Creek's full of those. It's like those guys, and there's just a lot of just, you know, rednecks and just kind of gun people. But and then there's, you know, there's a lot of state police and ATF, and ATF guys and stuff, which is totally cool.
Par for the course, really. I mean, because you want to see what people are out there looking at too.
You know, all those people.
If you're in the biz, if you're an operator, as it would be, you want to know what's going on.
I mean, that's, you know, those people are totally, you know, legitimate and they legally own all that stuff. But,
I mean, you're not going to be out there trying to sell stuff out of your trunk and stuff. That's a great way to get busted. Sure, I'm going to go to the Knob Creek machine gun shoot with all the stuff in my trunk.
There's always a few of those people that decide to show up and.
Oh yeah, that have a woodland address. It's always State Road 146.
And there's always there's the guy in like the there's always some guy walking around in like some sort of camouflage pants and a pair of like work boots, and he'll always have like a pistol belt on with a bayonet on it. There's a guy just walking around with a bayonet on his belt, and you're like,
nice.
Did when you were leaving the trailer, did you go, oh shit, I forgot my bayonet?
Well, you know? Like what's his face?
The
guy
out there without
Carl Brown, the local writer here.
Carl Brown
brought 2 bayonets up to my work to have sharpened. When I first started there, and I didn't recognize him at first, and
he looks kind of
Carl's a character, man. Carl's a character. But yeah, brought 2 bayonets in to be sharpened. Like, I don't think they're supposed to be sharpened. I was trying to talk to him about it. I was like, they're pointy. They're pointy. Yeah, they're like stilettos.
They're
not
going to
really
whittle with
a blade on them. They're just supposed to be pointy.
He's going to make a cane with it.
Apparently, he wanted to throw them.
The rare throwing bayonet.
Yes, exactly.
They're waited for that
too. Was maybe
what a fucking moron!
I don't know.
Throwing knives is retarded.
And I don't even know why he wanted to sharpen something he was going to throw. So they made it more incomprehensible.
Because throwing knives are also pointy.
Yes. Yeah, they were already pointy. So I figured, well, you know.
But I don't know what to make of a man who can't sharpen his own bayonet.
Yeah.
A grown man that can't sharpen. All my bayonets I sharpen myself.
Indeed.
That's insane.
Yes, you want to have both of them sharpened. I ended up having an associate of mine do it. I didn't want to be involved.
Didn't want any telltale prints on the bayonet.
Exactly.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. Well, there's all kinds of people like that out there, though, that just do that sort of thing. They just, you know, they go around and it's the trench coat guys, man. You know, gotta get my fantasy.
Just wait till they show up.
Gotta get my fantasy steel
with like shurikens or throwing stars.
Gil Hibben knife, you know, like one of the really elaborate ones, like stuffed in their belt.
They have like Gil Hibben posters.
Sure.
They get the promo posters and hang them up with their fantasy.
Well, one of my old roommates just moved out of the house today, and he had put some stuff in the trash, and I saw that there was a Gil Hibben's Guide to Throwing Knives out there in the trash.
I don't.
It's where it belongs, really. But you know, it had a picture of Gil on the back. You know.
So what's Gil look like?
He's kind of like balding. He's got the onion top, you know, going on. He looks like he's about maybe 100 pounds overweight. Oh, that's rude. Maybe like 60. I don't know. The guy's kind of portly.
Well, he might be 8 feet tall.
But, you know.
Maybe he's not overweight at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, he might be proportionate to his size. I mean, 9.5.
Yeah. And Gil Hibben is the guy who made the Conan sword.
What are you drinking over there? Which one's that?
This is...
Coaster.
It's empty.
Well, I know, but it's still got...
He's a coaster Nazi, dude.
I just don't want the table.
As evidenced by
I'm like, yeah.
No, that's a Wehrmacht helmet. It's not, there's no SS on it. So he's safe.
Yes.
For all we know,
Chad,
he was part
ad
of
hoc audio engineer, gave me a Wehrmacht helmet.
And if you'd like to see a picture of Chad, go to atthefront.com.
Yes. Atthefront.com has a great picture of Chad in his
1942 Wehrmacht tunic.
Yes, with his
Poor
Himmler.
guy.
He's wearing his Himmler glasses in that one.
He's not wearing any
No, he's got
glasses, no.
Himmler glasses, which is great. He said he bought them for he did reenactments, and we
As
saw
Himmler?
no, like the
that I'd like to see.
like the
This
kids
week
in the hall where they go to the
Mr. Bimler?
yeah. They go to the Civil War reenactment, and there's two Lincolns. Lincoln wasn't even here, and they had to have the fight in the parking lot.
And someone
okay.
beer.
Yeah.
Did you want to? Our hour's about up, so I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting pretty close to the end of the show. This is episode 0,
Yeah,
people.
the IPA.
You're going to get a lot more of this, and
Try that one.
we're going to try to stick to subject. We decided not to do a subject tonight because we were afraid we'd totally maul it, but this is just a little bit of what we do all the time, so we decided recording it would be the next step. Anyhow,
not too bad for a first.
No,
try.
I really think it came off well. We already knew we had
mag-loading thumb. Ow.
the chemistry of radio.
I have permanent nerve damage in the tip of my thumb.
Sure, you can't even open a beer.
I've got a blister from mowing my friend's
That'll
yard.
get you on disability.
Yes. I have mag thumb.
I can't open a beer.
Yeah. Well, I've got a blister from. I have a friend who is recovering from a gunshot wound. And I surprised him by mowing his grass today. And got a big fucking blister on my. That's it.
Well, from Destructomundo, this is James
And Ted.
And Derek.
Signing off, and we'll see you whenever we get around to doing another one of these.
I'm gonna work on that 10 things list.
Yes, we do need to have that.
Give us 2 weeks.
We do need to have that. Well, by the time we actually get this out to you, I'm sure we're going to have the 10 things you need
10
to
things
own
you can
list.
buy pretty easily.
Yeah.
Not
And then you can
And
upgrade them as needed. I mean, like with
there'll
the
be an
flashlight.
expanded
You
list
need
on
to
the
have
website.
a flashlight. Go get a 59-cent flashlight, but get a flashlight. At any rate, we'll have that list up for you, and hopefully we'll have more episodes later. And check back with us, and we'll see you.
Cheers.